September 8th, 2015. Franklin Nolan reading the 95th Congress, First Section, Senate Report number 95-182, calendar number 155, docket 95/1, SUPT 182. This is amending the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. May 16th, 1977, order to be printed. Mr. Williams of the Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs committed the following. Here's the report to Company S 1311. The Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs report favorably on a Bill S 1311 to amend the Securities Exchange Act of 1934 to authorize amounts to be appropriated for the Securities and Exchange Commission for fiscal year 1978 and recommend that the bill do pass. Okay, the committee deliberations. Senator Williams and Tower introduced S 1311 by request on April 19, 1977. The Subcommittee on Securities held hearings on April 20, 1977 and received testimony from Securities and Exchange Commission. On May 3, 1977, the committee met in open session to consider S 1311 and ordered the bill with an amendment to the title to be reported to the Senate. The background on this: in the Securities Act amendments of 1975, Public Law 94-29, Congress authorized amounts to be appropriated for Securities and Exchange Commissions through fiscal year 1977. Section 35 of the Securities Exchange Act expressly requires specific authorizations by the Congress for subsequent years. Pursuant to this requirement, the Commission served note to the appropriate committees of the Congress in January 1977 of this budget estimates for fiscal 1978. Subsequently, the Commission submitted legislation to provide multi-year budget authorization up to maximum of $64 million in fiscal year 1978, $70 million in fiscal year 1979, and $75 million in fiscal year 1980. Bottom of the page, 89-010, second page. The activities and fiscal requirements of the Commission are subject of hearing before subcommittee on the Securities late April, and only witness was Securities and Exchange Commission, represented by its new chairman, Harold M. Williams. In the course of his presentation, Chairman Williams recommended to the committee that it considered a one-year authorization covering fiscal 1978 only to allow him necessary time to formulate long-range priorities for applying the Commission's resource and implementing management improvement at the Commission. Both at the hearing and during the deliberations, the committee was particularly interested in variance between Commission's budget estimates of $58,290,000 and requested authorization of $6 million. Neither the Commission's budget's submissions nor additional information furnished to the committee upon request provided the committee with a satisfactory explanation to justify the full amount of requested authorization according to the committee, and decided to authorize for the Commission in the next fiscal year and precise amount of its budget estimate of $58,290,000. Okay, based upon this experience, the committee encourages and expects the Commission to upgrade and qualify informational content of the budget submission in the future, and committee to exercise its subsequent oversight functions and set authorization limits for this important agency of government, it must receive better and more detailed information from the commission. In the same vein, the commission should prepare its budget submission and estimate its financial requirements in coordination with its planned priorities and projected needs. Such planning will result in maximum advantage to the commission in terms of both charting its future course and using its resources most efficiently and effectively. Alright, the nature and purpose of this legislation. Hold tight. The committee decided to afford the new chairman of its commission an opportunity to request to develop his own budget, therefore to accept and recommend to authorize amounts to be appropriated for fiscal year 1978 only. For fiscal year 1978, the committee has authorized $58,290,000 for the commission, and this reflects as an increase of $2,020,000 over the current approximation. The difference consists of the two board categories of expense: increased costs associated with maintaining current activities and anticipated requirements for additional resources. The following information furnished by the commission details the nature and purpose of the request to raise authorization ceiling from the present $56,500,000 to $58,290,000. So that's about $250,000 raise. Oh, excuse me, 2.25 million. Okay, fiscal year 1977 authorization, including recent supplementals, less sums for executive pays raised, not appropriated. So the appropriations and budgets is $56,270,000. So that comes from the $56,500,000 minus the $230,000. You get that number. $56,270,000. Okay, and page 3, increase over 1977 appropriation level, modernization of the records and enhancement of AD systems, including the full year cost of installing a micrograph capacity. That's a $476,000. Okay, the increased cost related to travel, communications, printing, stenographs, reporting, utilities, alterations, other non-personnel expenses, and that's a $1,631,000. Okay, decreasing the personal cost, representing the new reduction between increased costs within grade promotions and serving recognized from 1 workday and 12 fewer staff years. That comes to $87,000 the total, which comes to grand total here. That's a $58,290,000. So that's where those values come from. Okay, the committee believes that the increments are necessary for continued operations of commission. In particular, the committee is already on record as strong endorsing and supporting the commission's modernization program. Earlier this year, it raised the commission's authorization ceiling for this purpose. As for the balance of the increase, the commission has indicated that the additional non-personnel related costs are essential and unavoidable. Okay, according to the commission, the remains the $5,700,000 consists of the projected requirements which have not been budgeted in 1978. The major terms include funds for the pay increase anticipated in October 1977, possible modification in physical plants of the commission to accommodate automatic data processing equipment, additional space rentals and related alterations and moving costs and substantial amounts presenting unforeseen program needs and contingencies. The committee has decided against including budget and authorization for these expenses until such time, and in the event the need actually arises and the precise financial requirements can be justified, such time the committee shall consider the Commission's request for additional authorizations. The committee unanimously recommends the impact of this legislation and in order that the necessary funds be appropriated. The cost of the legislation pursuant to the Section 252 Alpha, the Legislation and Reorganization Act of 1970, as amended, the committee accepts as its own estimate of the cost of carrying out the legislation and following cost estimate as prepared by Congressional Budget Office. Congressional Budget Office, U.S. Congress, Washington, D.C., May 4th, 1977. Honorable William Proxmire, Chairman, Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs, U.S. Senate, Suite 5300, Dirksen, Senate Office Building, Washington, D.C. Dear Mr. Chairman, pursuant to Section 403, the Congressional Budget Act of 1974, the Congressional Budget Office has prepared the attached cost estimate for S-1311 Amendment to Securities Exchange Act of 1934. Should the committee to desire, we should be pleased to provide further details on attached cost estimate. Sincerely, Alice M. Revlin, Director. Okay, it's fourth and final page. Congressional Budget Office cost estimate for May 4th, 1977. The bill titled Amendment to the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. 10 breakdowns for the cost estimate. 1. Bill number S-1311. 2. Bill titled Amendment to the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. 3. The statutes as ordered, reported by Senate Committees on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs. 4. Purpose of bill. This bill authorizes $58.29 million to be appropriated in fiscal years 1974 for Securities Exchange Commissions. 5. Cost estimate. I'm going to break this down. Fiscal year 1978, authorization level $58.3 million, estimated cost $55.4. Fiscal year 1979, authorization level 0, estimated cost $2.9. Fiscal years 1980, authorization level 0, estimated cost also 0. Fiscal cost of 1981, 0 of authorization level, estimated cost also 0. Fiscal year 82, authorization levels 0 and estimated cost is also 0. 6. Basis for estimate. The projected spend out rate for SEC salaries and expenses of 95% in the fiscal year and 5% in the second year. The spend out rate was applied to 58.3 million authorization levels for the fiscal year 1972. Estimate further outlays. 7. Estimate comparison none. 8. Previous 3 BO estimate none. 9. Estimate prepared by Jack Geraghty. That's 225-7760. 10. Estimate approved by Robert A. Sunshine for James L. Blum, Assistant Director for Budget Analysts. Change in existing law. Here we go. This is it. In the opinion of the committee, it is necessary to dispense with requirements of subsection 4, Rule XXIX, in the Standing Rule of the Senate in order to expedite the business of Senate. Bottom of the page, SR 182. That is Document 95/1 SUPT 182, calendar number 155. This is the 95th Congress, Section 1 Senate Report number 95-182, amending Securities Exchange Act of 1934. This is May 16th, 1977. My name is Franklin Nolan. Reached at frankienolan@gmail.com. That's FrankieIENOLAN@gmail.com. Call me 775-203-6497. Today's date, September 8th, 2015. Happy Labor Day weekend. Belated.